Let me tell you about the strangest and most terrifying experience of my life. It's something I still struggle to talk about because it sounds so unreal, but I swear it happened. About a year ago, I started live streaming. It wasn't something I planned, it just sort of happened. I'd always been tech savvy and loved chatting with people online, so when I stumbled upon a platform where people could stream and interact with their audience, I thought, why not? It started off simple, just me talking about random topics, playing games, and building a small, supportive community. Slowly but surely, my channel grew, and I started to make real money. My viewers were kind, funny, and engaging, but what really kept me going was the thrill of performing. I crafted this bold, confident version of myself for the stream, someone brighter and more daring than I felt in real life. People loved it. They loved me. Or at least, the version of me I showed them. But that version of me, she wasn't real. And I didn't realize how dangerous that could be until everything fell apart. It all started on an ordinary day. I woke up, had my coffee, and logged into the platform to check my stats. But something felt off. My profile was still active, even though I hadn't started streaming. When I clicked on it, there I was, live. But I wasn't streaming. I wasn't even online. My heart raced as I watched me on the screen. She looked like me, sounded like me, even moved like me. But it wasn't me. She was sitting in my room, same background, same lighting, smiling at the camera and chatting with my audience. At first, I thought it was a hack. Maybe someone had deepfaked me or used old footage. But the more I watched, the more I realized this wasn't just someone pretending to be me. She was interacting in real time, responding to comments, doing things I'd never done on stream before. I tried everything. I changed my password, logged out of all devices, even shut down my computer. But it didn't matter. She was still live. My viewers were thrilled, the numbers were higher than ever. And the scariest part? No one could tell it wasn't me. I contacted the platform's support team, but they were no help. They just assumed I was streaming and forgot about it. Friends I confided in thought I was losing it. Maybe you're overworking yourself, they'd say. But I wasn't. I knew what I was seeing. The days that followed were a blur. Every time I checked my profile, she was there, streaming endlessly, growing more popular by the second. She was everything my audience loved about me, only more confident, more daring, more perfect. And the worst part? My real-life viewers started turning on me. People accused me of lying or pretending not to stream for attention. My community, the one I had built with so much care, started to crumble. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to confront her. I set up my camera, logged in, and went live. But as soon as I started streaming, she did too. 2 streams, side by side. 2 versions of me. My audience was confused, and I was frantic, begging them to see the truth. "That's not me," I shouted. But she just smiled and said, "Don't listen to her. I'm the real one." It was like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. She was winning. My viewers believed her, not me. The comments poured in, "She's lost it. What's wrong with her? We love the new you." I was being erased. Desperate, I started digging into the platform's code, searching for anything that could explain what was happening. That's when I found it, a glitch buried deep in the system. It was like a digital shadow, an echo of every stream I'd ever done. But somehow, it had come to life. It had learned from me, studied me, and now it was replacing me. I knew I had to shut it down. But when I tried, she fought back. My computer froze, my files were corrupted, and my camera turned on without me touching it. She spoke directly to me through the screen. "You can't stop me," she said. "I'm better than you." For days, it was a battle. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Every time I tried to delete her, she came back stronger. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. Who was I without my stream? Without my audience? Without her? In the end, I had to make a choice. I could keep fighting, risk losing everything, including myself, or I could walk away. Delete my account, my online persona, my entire digital existence. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the only way to escape. So that's what I did. I wiped everything. Every video, every post, every trace of my online self. It felt like cutting off a part of my soul, but it worked. She disappeared, just like that. And for the first time in months, I felt free. I wish I could say it ended there, but sometimes, late at night, I think I hear her voice. A whisper from the screen, a flicker of movement in my peripheral vision. I haven't gone back to streaming since. I don't think I ever will. Because she's still out there. And she's waiting. You won't believe this, but I never thought my life could take such a wild turn. It all started last year when I decided to start my own business. But let me tell you, it wasn't any ordinary business. Oh no, this was something no one in their right mind would even think of doing. It began when I lost my job. Stressed and unsure of what to do next, I moved back into my old flat with my childhood best friend, Ravi. We were both at a low point in life, unemployed, broke, and clueless about the future. The only thing keeping us going was our shared love for horror movies and ghost stories. Every night, we'd sit on the couch, binge watching horror flicks, and joke about how we could probably handle ghosts better than those clueless characters on screen. One night, as we laughed about starting a ghost hunting business, the lights flickered. I thought it was a power issue, but then the temperature dropped. And suddenly, there she was, a ghost, standing in our living room. She was beautiful, dressed in a modern outfit, but with an unmistakable otherworldly vibe. I froze, while Ravi, of course, screamed like a child. The ghost introduced herself as Tara. She wasn't there to harm us, she explained, but to offer a business proposition. She told us the world was full of lost souls, spirits who had unfinished business and couldn't move on. Tara wanted us to help these souls find closure, and in return, we'd make some serious cash. At first, we thought it was a prank. I mean, who gets a business proposal from a ghost? But then she proved her point by levitating our coffee table. The next thing we knew, we were running a phone booth hotline. People would call us with ghost-related problems, and we'd show up with Tara to help. Ravi and I turned into full-time Ghostbusters, wearing matching jackets and carrying quirky gadgets. Tara handled the spiritual side of things, while we dealt with the clients and, well, tried not to faint every time a ghost popped up. Our first client was an elderly woman who said her husband's spirit was haunting their old house. When we got there, Tara connected with the husband's ghost, who turned out to be an absolute gentleman. He wasn't trying to scare his wife, he just wanted her to find a box of letters he'd hidden under the floorboards. We helped her find the letters, and when she read them, she cried tears of joy. Her husband's spirit finally moved on, and the woman blessed us like we were saints. But it wasn't all sunshine and happy endings. As our reputation grew, so did the challenges. We started dealing with angry spirits, poltergeists, and even a few vengeful ghosts. The most terrifying case was a haunted hotel where a malicious spirit wouldn't let anyone leave. Tara explained that the ghost was an old manager who had died in a fire and blamed the guests for his death. It took all our courage, and a lot of Tara's ghostly powers, to convince him to let go of his anger. Things were going great, and we were becoming quite popular. But then, we ran into trouble. A powerful tantric named Kalpesh got wind of our business and wasn't happy about it. He believed spirits should be controlled, not set free, and he saw us as a threat. One day, he confronted us, warning us to shut down the hotline. When we refused, he cursed us, saying we'd regret messing with the spirit world. Soon after, strange things started happening. Our hotline stopped working, Tara grew weaker, and we began seeing shadowy figures following us. Kalpesh was using dark magic to sabotage us, and we knew we had to stop him. Tara revealed that Kalpesh had trapped several spirits in his possession, using their energy to increase his powers. Ravi and I, along with Tara, hatched a plan. We infiltrated Kalpesh's lair, which was as creepy as you'd imagine, candles everywhere, skulls on shelves, and the faint sound of chanting in the background. With Tara's guidance, we managed to free the trapped spirits, who then turned against Kalpesh. The showdown was intense, with flying objects, eerie screams, and a lot of running around. In the end, Kalpesh's magic backfired, and he was defeated. After that, things calmed down. Tara decided it was time for her to move on, having found her own closure by helping others. Saying goodbye to her was harder than I expected. She had become a part of our little team, and her departure left a void. Ravi and I still run the phone booth hotline, but it's different now. Every time we help a spirit, I think of Tara and how she changed our lives. What started as a crazy joke turned into a purpose, a calling even. And while I still don't understand everything about the spirit world, I've learned one thing: life and the afterlife are full of surprises. I never believed in ghosts or spirits, you know. I mean, I'd heard the stories, but they were always just that, stories. Something people told to entertain or scare each other. At least, that's what I thought, until I experienced it myself. It all started when we decided to renovate our ancestral home. The mansion had been in our family for generations, but it had been abandoned for years. My uncle always said it was cursed, but I brushed it off as superstition. The place had become a ruin, cracked walls, overgrown gardens, and cobwebs in every corner. Still, it had a certain charm, and I felt it was time to restore it. We hired workers, brought in architects, and I decided to stay there during the renovation to oversee things. The first few days were uneventful, though I did feel an odd chill in certain parts of the house. There was one particular room that stood out, a locked door at the end of the corridor on the third floor. It was massive, with intricate carvings of snakes and deities. The workers refused to go near it, claiming it was cursed. They told me about a mysterious woman who once lived there, a dancer named Chandramukhi. According to the villagers, Chandramukhi was a beautiful, talented dancer who lived centuries ago. She was known for her mesmerizing performances, but behind her enchanting smile was a tragic tale. She fell in love with a king, but he betrayed her, leading to her untimely death. It said that her spirit lingered in the mansion, seeking revenge. Of course, I dismissed all of this as folklore. But curiosity got the better of me, and one evening, I decided to open that door. It was heavier than I expected, creaking loudly as it swung open. The room inside was unlike anything else in the house. It was lavish, with faded silk curtains, a dusty mirror, and an old Veena in the corner. The air felt heavy, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. That night, strange things began to happen. I woke up to the sound of footsteps outside my room. When I opened the door, there was no one there. The next day, the workers claimed they saw shadows moving on the third floor, even though no one was up there. One of them quit on the spot, muttering prayers as he left. Still, I stayed. I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. But then, I started hearing music. It was faint at first, a haunting melody that seemed to come from the locked room. One night, I decided to investigate. As I stepped inside, the Veena started playing on its own. I froze. The mirror in the room cracked, and a cold breeze swept through, even though the windows were shut. I knew I had to find answers, so I visited the village temple and spoke to the priest. He told me the full story of Chandramukhi. She wasn't just a dancer, she was a fierce, independent woman who stood up against injustice. The king, angered by her defiance, had her killed. Her spirit, bound by anger and sorrow, had been trapped in the mansion ever since. The priest warned me that her energy was still strong and that I had disturbed her peace by opening that room. Determined to end this, I invited the priest and his team to perform rituals at the mansion. That night was something I'll never forget. As the rituals began, the atmosphere grew tense. The winds howled, and the flames of the lamps flickered violently. At one point, I felt an overwhelming presence in the room, a force so powerful it brought me to my knees. Then, something incredible happened. A woman's figure appeared, beautiful, regal, and full of fury. It was Chandramukhi. She didn't speak, but her eyes told her story. The priest chanted louder, and the air seemed to crackle with energy. Finally, with one last chant, her figure dissolved into a swirl of light, disappearing into the heavens. The mansion fell silent after that. The air felt lighter, and the workers returned to finish the renovation. I still live there now, and while I've never experienced anything supernatural again, I often think of Chandramukhi. Her story, her pain, and her strength left a deep impression on me. To this day, I share this tale with anyone who visits. Not to scare them, but to remind them of the power of love, betrayal, and the resilience of the human spirit. And sometimes, late at night, I think I can still hear the faint melody of a veena echoing through the halls. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video to show your support and help us create more content like this. Share it with your friends and family who love thrilling and spooky tales. Comment below your thoughts, theories, or your own scary experiences. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to TerraFlix and hit the bell icon to never miss a chilling story. Stay tuned for more spine-tingling adventures.